back with part 2, episode 3. We're going to pick up right where we left off. Devin, I hope you remember. Here we go.
Considering it was like 10 minutes ago.
I don't even know if it's been 10. Well,
It's the magic of editing.
Oh, gotcha. So, anyways, we are living in Detroit. Kind of just come off some crazy low roller coasters there, and I am to the point where I realize that this is the person that I want to be with, and I know it. I know in my heart. I just know that she's gonna, like Ty said, she didn't leave several times when she could have. So, the date was March 24th, roughly 2017. I'm thinking, and yes, I did get down on one knee. So she walked in from work, and when she opened the door in the carport, I was there on one knee.
Oh no, he fell down.
I like the fly traps better.
The fly traps were a lot better, and now when I go back and look at it, I understand her put together of me just doing it just because in that moment, and just from what she's been through. Why in the world is he doing this right now? Why is this not put together? Because you see the post on Facebook, you go down the magical trail, you got the guy in the heart shape. That wasn't me. I was in what we called our den of that house, just chilling. When she walked in, I get up, I hear a car, and I'd be like, that's her. No, it's not her. Where's it at? Where's it at?
Oh, that's the pizza guy.
They don't deliver in Detroit. So she said yes, obviously.
Yay.
And we got married.
Yay.
Thanks. We got married November 4th, 2017. Went to Jamaica. Thought we was balling.
You're telling me that on the daggum pizza and Hardee's salary, you was able to...
He's working at DOT.
I'm making some.
Have you not listened to anything we've been talking about?
I was really just making a joke. I tell you what, you take everything too serious. We'll talk about this offline. Continue on, Devin.
I will say that
Andy had a side business.
Family did.
I don't think DOT pays that much either.
I will say this: family did take care of the honeymoon. It was paid for. We lived it up. Matter of fact, one of the planes that we took down there, it was pretty much like a private jet. We had our own seats, first class. We thought we was doing something, and the only reason we had those tickets was because if we wanted to go, that was the plane, the only one that was going.
Puddle jumper only.
This is it. You can pay for this, and her mother did. Her mother definitely, she took care of it, and so we're rolling on. Had a great honeymoon, and it was fantastic. Never been to Jamaica. I highly advise that. It's awesome. You don't want to go to Jamaica.
I'm not getting on a plane to get there. I'll tell you that right now.
It was. So we ended up flying from Atlanta to North Carolina, then from North Carolina to Jamaica. And I couldn't tell you why.
North Carolina's closer to Jamaica.
From Atlanta?
Yes.
Okay. Anyways.
Please say it.
Oh, okay.
No.
Y'all good?
You're a North Carolina fan too, right?
Just a big Duke guy and a big Panthers fan. Anyways. So we're rolling on. And obviously now we're at the point where I can actually have sex because I'm married, right?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
In the Lord's eyes? Is that what
yeah,
you're saying?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. This is probably one of the tougher parts for me because we ended up in some tough spots, and I couldn't afford, and I hid a lot of things for my wife. Went and got some loans and stuff, just trying to act like we was making it. What I didn't realize is I was putting us in a deeper hole. We went everywhere, and I made sure of that. Wherever we wanted to go, we went and we done it. And she never questioned it. And I dug these holes. I never told her about any of the loans I went and got. At this point, we're married, It's kind of something you don't hide. Finances is a big thing. And I was a very selfish person as far as bedroom standpoint. It was about me, and I was good, and I'm done. Just being honest with you. And so, with all that being said, it got to the point where we had to move. I lose you there. Like I said, I could be fired after this. I've really enjoyed going to church with you guys.
Hey man, it's no filter. We're
I'm
open about
caps
everything.
off, baby.
You've always struck me as that type of guy. I'll say that up front.
So I have dug the hole so deep at this point where we're in debt to our nose, and she's starting to find out about it. Anytime anything would come in the mail, I would just get it and throw it away. Because she would always ask, we never get any mail. I know, we don't need any mail. We don't
Just
have
bills.
It. Yeah,
just bills.
Got
Won't need them.
power bill and water bill. We don't owe for nothing. Both our vehicles are paid for at this time, so we don't have any bills. It's fine. Well, I get to the point where I can't. We really just can't make it. So what do I have to do? I'm a married man, and I moved back into my mama's house.
Oh, I was gonna say sell them 20s.
No. 20s have done been sold at this point. I moved back into my mother's house, and it shouldn't be tough for me to go through it because I know where I'm at right now. But I was at work, and just another day, and get a text pretty much saying that she's done. And in that moment, I'm oblivious to whatever's going on, which everything was very obvious what was going on. I've lied to her, and in all reality, she's not really got over the fact of the things that I've done to her at this point.
I'm sorry. You said I might have not heard you. You said you moved with your mother. She's not.
Yeah,
actually
no,
not with you.
we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I might have.
So
not heard
my
that.
mom is actually there's a lot of things that kind of went on with this. My mom's working third shift. It's hard for us. We're all weird. Everybody's waking somebody up. There's a lot of stress going on, and I'm at work, and I get a text pretty much telling me she's done. Well, in that moment, I knew that she's never told me that before. She's never left me. No matter what I put her through, she's always stayed there. I hid so much and did so much damage and was so selfish in other aspects that I still hadn't grew up yet. I was still so focused on what Devin was going to do and pretty much impressing the other people around me that I just didn't show her any type of anything as far as a marriage goes. And I'm man enough now to realize that the things that I've done, finance-wise, is huge. And I'm young. I didn't know. I didn't realize it was going to be this big of a deal. But when people start trying to garnish a check, by the way, I didn't make a lot of money at.
Yeah, because you're, 21-ish
Yeah.
at this time? 21, 22 maybe?
I didn't make a lot of money at the state. And, we're getting people, people want to get their money, and I'm not paying it because I can't. And in that moment, she pretty much told me, we kind of sat down and talked about it. And she told me everything that I just said, and it was, I wasn't ready to grow up, and she hadn't got over the pain she's been through, and I've lied to her, and nothing's changed. I was the same Devin. In my mind, I thought I was doing better, but all I had done was dig a hole so far in the ground that I couldn't get out of it. So we talked about splitting, and it went on, and I just asked her, can I get home and we talk? I've made my mind up. I've never went out on my wife since we've been married. I've not done anything. I feel like I'm doing what needs to happen. Why are you wanting to leave me? The reason why I've got some of these loans was so we could do things. I thought that I was doing the right thing. But in all reality, if I'd have just talked to her, it would have been so much better. The reason why it's so tough for me to even, and I actually on my notes, I didn't even write divorce. I don't even like the word thinking about it. I couldn't, in that moment, like I said, I knew who I wanted to be with. There was no way at that moment I could have done life without her. She's the reason why I'm trying to better myself. She pushed me to go finish my schooling, even if we don't want to call it that. And every aspect, she's pushed me to be a better man, and I didn't know what I was going to do. So that was around March or April, or around that time, 2019. And I could be off a little bit on that. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not real sure on that date. But we ended up talking, and I told her I was going to work on me. And we was as soon as we could, we was getting out of my mom's house. We got to go.
Mm-hmm.
So what ended up happening was better situation, but we actually found a single wide that was close to her mom's house, and we moved in there, and we stayed there for a little while. Everything got better because we're actually communicating. We know that I have to take care of this debt that's in front of me, and she's like, we come to agreement, we're going to do it together. Once again, she had every reason to leave. I've lied, I've been selfish, and I hurt her so much prior that she couldn't even think. So everything's going great, and we actually get to a point where we're financially stable. We've got things back down paid, and we bought our first house in Hamilton. It's a nice double wide, 5 acres of land, got my own shop. We're doing life at this point. Remind you, I'm still the furthest thing away from God that you could ever possibly imagine. The whole time that I was trying to figure out why everything kept crashing down, I didn't understand it. But this is about the time when there's something tugging on my heart.
So even though that lady said what she said about y'all not being married, even after you got married, it still didn't matter. I was hurt and I was mad, or however you want to say it, and I'm not getting back into it.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't have any desire. We would go and we would do the Easter thing from time to time at people's church, and we would go because, like I said, in my heart, I knew where I needed to be, but I could have cared less, and so we're just kind of living and doing our own thing, and we tried for a while. For a long time, I didn't want kids, and I knew I didn't have the patience for it. And I've told her we had arguments about it, and we had lots of conversations, and I just didn't want to have kids. And she finally got to the point where there was people around us having kids. My friends, they're having kids, and I just didn't want to have kids.
Peer pressure, man.
Yeah. We finally talked about it, and I told her, I was like, I'm in. We'll do this thing. If that's if you want to have a kid, we'll do it.
You just want to do the part to make the kid.
Yeah, that's what I thought in the moment. Like I said, I want to bring it up that I didn't have the patience. I'm the guy that I'm still praying every night, even through everything else I'd done prior to this. I prayed every night. I didn't know really how to, but I knew that I needed to pray every night. And we struggled for a long time. So we tried and tried and tried, and Ashley's got some issues where it was a little bit of an issue for us to have kids, and it was a very defeating feeling. Once again, I'm under attack, and I still haven't went to God about nothing. I'm good. It'll happen when it happens. Where I was at, we just ain't meant to have no baby right now. So finally, around September of 2020 is where I've kind of got it. I was at what we called the Fajita Grill in Hamilton, Alabama, getting wasted, way beyond measures. It's what I've done every weekend. A bunch of buddies, we go hang out at the bar, and that night, for some reason, her sister come, and she had brought somebody with her too, and she's like, "Hey, I'm going to take you back home," and I was like, "Okay." I think that's how it happened. No, sorry, backtrack. Ashley got me. Her and her sister was at the house preparing something. Remind y'all, I am wasted.
Chocolate wasted.
Hey, I come so tight with these folks there. If you bought 2, you ended up getting about 2 or 3 for free. So I walk into the house, and what I didn't know is that her and Denise was putting signs up and stuff saying, "There's a baby coming soon." Ashley was pregnant.
Oh, we got a COVID baby.
Hey, drunk, crying in the hallway. Y'all can ask Ashley for the video. She still has it.
Yes.
She has the video of you drunk crying in the hallway?
Absolutely.
That'll be that might be edited in.
Bonus clip.
So I in that moment, you know, I woke up the next morning and I was like, what, you know,
something happened last night.
Something kind of.
I ain't sure what it was.
It kind of happened, and it hit me, you know, that we was about to have a kid, and it was a really good feeling. And at this point, I still know I don't have the patience, and I don't know that I ever did pray for patience, but it's always been something I've been told probably don't want to do that too much. It's just something I grew up hearing that. You just better be prepared for whatever comes your way.
The only way you get better at something is be tested by it.
So this one's kind of tough too. And I've told several times that I would leave this alone, but I'm bringing it back up tonight because podcast wise, and it's a big part of mine and her story, and even bigger part of his.
Here we go.
I had COVID, and I was fine, but this is 2020. We're prime COVID.
Mm-hmm.
This is when everybody's freaking out. Ashley comes back there in the back bedroom where I'm at because I'm trying to separate myself. I know she's pregnant, and I'm trying to stay away from her. And she tells me that her water broke. And we're not supposed to be at this point yet. She's about 26 weeks pregnant, and the first thing I want to do is obviously I want to take my wife to the hospital so we can get this taken care of. I couldn't be selfish in that way because I knew I had COVID, and I knew when he got here, he's not going to be well, and he's going to probably end up in a NICU somewhere. And to think that I would have exposed other kids that's in that NICU, I didn't go. So in these moments, her sister was living with us at the time. She just come to kind of be there or whatever, and she hung out with me. They ended up having to send Ashley to Jackson because they knew that Amory at the time they couldn't do this. You know, they couldn't take care of this small of a child and everything. And shout out to that hospital. They took care of my wife as much as they could until that point. So I get a phone call and that my wife is going to Jackson, Mississippi, and I'm living in Hamilton, Alabama. I couldn't do anything. I was at the lowest point that I had been in a long time because I feel like I failed all the way up to this point. Now I'm about to fail as a father too. Obviously, I couldn't help the situation, but the amount of thoughts that was running through my head, I couldn't be there. And as the night went on, I stayed on the phone. The doctors was really great. My mother-in-law has been a backbone in so much of our life. My whole family has. My mother-in-law actually got to go back there with her while she was having John Luke, and they let me at least be on the speakerphone and hear. Well, in these moments, I realized that a lot is about to change. We didn't know what was about to happen. And I knew something told me if I didn't hear him crying, I was going to be, something's not good anyway. The moment that she ended up giving birth to John Luke, I heard him. And at that moment, I didn't care. I was going to Jackson, Mississippi. I was getting there. So I got up the next morning and I headed down to Jackson, Mississippi. I got a hotel about 3 or 4 miles away, and I stayed in there for a little bit, and then I think I was out of my quarantine about 3 or 4 days later. I can't really remember. I walk into a room of finally getting to see my son, and he's a pound and 12 ounces.
He's 3 or 4 days old when you finally get to lay eyes on him, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And he's right at 14 and a half inches long. In those moments, I didn't know. Like I said, I was the furthest thing. In those moments, I felt like, here it is. This is, you didn't want a kid. Everything was my fault in those moments. You didn't really want a kid. Well, you're going to understand. In that room, that hotel room that night, first time of surrender I had, and I couldn't tell you how long. I just said, God, I don't understand why we're having to go through this, but I just want my son to make it. I just need this to happen. I need for my son to make it, because this is going to be it for me. So this rolls on. Every day it was an obstacle. Every single up and down, it carried on. And I finally got to go. We was there. I stayed there for about a month, and I had to go back to work. Once again, I'm having to leave my wife and my son. Well, we don't know day to day. We didn't have a clue what in the world was going to happen. Hey, there would be monitors beeping from time to time where stuff would stop. He would be in bad shape, this and that, and resuscitating. It was a lot. When I tell y'all that my wife, she is the whole rock of the family, because for those amount of time, John Luke didn't get to come home until May. My wife never left Jackson, Mississippi, but twice. And one of the times was because I made her to just go get something else to eat, just to go out and get away for a little while.
So he was how old when he came home?
Let's see. He had been right at 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah. She never left his side. And as I was going back, kind of get my notes, my wife was exhausted. She never quit. She never once batted an eye that she was going to be in that room with our son. We ended up getting in a Ronald McDonald house, and she lived there. She lived there from the time that he got in until the time we finally left. And I don't know if y'all have ever been in one, but it is a hotel room with a TV and a bathroom. They treated my wife like a daughter in that house. They pretty much took care of us and everything. But as I went back to work, there was nothing that I could do. I couldn't focus. She even told me several times that it was a weekend and I was going to head that way. She was, why don't you just go to the races this weekend? We was big into dirt track racing at that time, and I didn't. I tried and I did. I went, and it was like I couldn't do anything right at this point in my life.
There's no enjoyment because your head's everywhere but where you're at that moment.
I didn't know what to do. I'm at home alone, and my wife is sitting beside my son in a hospital bed for 4 months, close to 5 months. So life rolls on. He gets to come home. He gets to come home and around in May, and so we're. It's crazy to me how I sit back and I look over a testimony. That was all God in those moments, and I knew it in those moments. I prayed, pleaded, and begged, and I was on my face trying to figure out what I needed to do. But when he come home, I went right back to doing what Devin wanted to do. Now, I was still a good married man. I didn't go out on my wife, but I went right back to my drinking, We was back to hanging out, doing everything we was gonna do, and I didn't really care.
Hey, just like we done said, we'll call on Jesus when things get hard.
That's right.
Baby.
That's when you need him.
Yeah.
Put him in your back pocket.
Down there in the bottom of the valley, because it's
That's
easy
right.
on the mountaintop, baby.
Hey, my biggest thought process.
That's good.
My biggest thought process was, all right, well, he got me through it, so we're good.
Yeah.
I mean, whether anybody wants to sit back and admit that, so many times in my life I've done that. He's already got me through it, so we're good. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
That's a sermon. I'll talk to you later.
You want to know something that I find funny about it? He knew that when that boy got back home, you were going to do what you wanted to do,
Yeah.
and he still brought him through it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So we're thinking the scares wasn't really over with at this point. My wife ain't seen nothing but 4 walls in months. Everything but a prison cell. My wife was trapped. I mean,
Ashley got home. She said, "Look at this kitchen. You ever seen this?
yeah. she was, and she wouldn't call it that because she would have rather been nowhere else.
Absolutely.
But she was there. That was what she knew.
She was probably lonely.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's everybody listening to this understands that your bills didn't quit coming because you was in that
That's
situation.
right.
You had to go back to work, but it doesn't negate from the fact that she was lonely.
Yeah.
She was, no matter the circumstance, she still felt like, hey, I'm here by myself having to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure she doesn't blame you for that either. But
Yeah.
that's just the truth of it.
So in that hospital stay, obviously John Luke was way early, and that come with a lot of different things. John Luke ended up having a G-tube because he couldn't take a bottle. His throat wasn't matured yet, and she can get into more detail of that was how I took it. And so we had to learn that, and obviously immune system wise he's going to be pretty weak. So we waited 2 months. Her mother had a vacation scheduled, and he's doing great at this point, thriving. We've figured out we have to carry a pump around to feed him everywhere we go. We just wore it like a backpack and just would feed him. It would just become normal. And in July, when we thought we was having a lot of enjoyment, John Luke ended up getting RSV when we got back home from the beach. Once again, I felt like in that moment you just had to go. You couldn't have waited till his immune system built up. And as a parent, we do that. We're to blame because it wasn't him. He didn't tell me he wanted to go.
Didn't care nothing about the beach.
And we're back in the hospital again. We're right back in a hospital and all we know is this isn't good because of just how bad the RSV was, and we're sitting in Amory, and once again they took fantastic care of him, and the doctor finally comes in and says that, hey, we can't provide what he needs here. He needs more. It was just a PTSD, I'm like, we're going right back. And back where she was, she's about to be away for a long time. And it really was a bad situation, and he ended up getting over it fairly quick. I'm almost positive they called and told us that the helicopter couldn't get there because it was en route and everything, and so they pretty much told us that John Luke had to fly on a jet. They sent him from wherever the closest airport is in Amory. It was just a landing strip.
County, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a landing strip.
Out there in Becker.
I
Yeah.
can tell you how to get to the Bahamas from North Carolina.
You don't say much during these things, Ty. What you say is gold. I want you to know that.
So they come back in there and they say, but we got a jet coming, and they're going to land. We're going to take him there in the ambulance and everything.
He's leaving on a jet plane.
So Ashley's like, okay, well, I'll just ride and you follow us there. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And the doctor said, no, you can't go. Like, this is pretty much a doctor will be on this and a pilot.
Oh, she can't go.
She can't go.
Oh.
So remind you,
she got fired.
The woman that has not left this boy's side since he's been born, literally has not left this boy's side, has to now let him fly in a jet to Birmingham.
At 6 months old or whatever, right?
Yeah. So that rolled on, and like I said, he got into Birmingham.
Hold on, before you get too far, she ain't pitch a fit about that.
Oh yeah, she was hot. She was
hot.
hot.
There was room on that plane. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
The thing was they come in and when they told her and everything, we actually knew a lot of the nurses, and they was fantastic. And she didn't want to get too ill at them because she knew there was nothing that she could do.
There's nothing they could do.
I'm sure she'll tell us all about it.
So we get to Birmingham, and my wife's like, "We gotta go." I said, "Babe, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you something right now. We're not beating that jet from Amory to Birmingham. We're not beating them.
That thing landed before y'all stopped for gas.
We had and
that's a 15-minute flight.
This is early in the morning, so I'm gonna go ahead. I gotta get some coffee. We gotta get some gas, and we got to go. I said, "Babe,
and snacks.
No matter how fast we go, we're not beating this jet." So, anyways, we get
that man went over RSP by the time they got there.
That's right. Yeah. We get there, and without our permission, they couldn't find a vein to get. This is just part of the story that I know she would share. We get there, instead of running a regular IV, they run it through his head. And you want to talk about hot?
Looked like a little unicorn.
That's when she was hot. That's when she got hot. But like I said, he got through it. He got through the RSV. If anybody that's watching this knows my boy now, he's something. He's got about 4 foot of crack that hangs out at all times, no matter what kind of pants he wears, and he's loud.
He's supposed to be getting a haircut this weekend with some new clippers too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who's not going to be getting a haircut. Me.
You're gonna be gone.
I'm not.
You ain't got time in the chair.
I'm not. I was made sure that I understood that. And if it turns out good, she done told me, "You're not getting your haircut by me." Remember? So
she did say that.
Yes.
So we kind of roll back on. Life's kind of pretty normal. To most people, it wouldn't have been normal. To us, it just become normal. We had a G2 baby, and actually, we've noticed here recently it's very common. I never heard of it until John Luke got one, and I'm at a point where I've been working for Aldoc for 6 years at this point, and I'm at a point now where I need to make some more money. My wife's not working; she's staying home with John Luke because he's got a G-tube, and so I just told her, I said, "You stay at home," and I know a guy that's pretty much working in construction. I'll just go work for them. So, in this, it's May of 2022, and I go ahead and sell my house, and we hit a camper and we hit the road, baby. I'm in Huntsville, Alabama first.
Are you still pulling it with the same F-150?
No, I was actually pulling it with my mother-in-law's truck first.
F-150 ain't got no shoes on it no more. Sitting on hubcaps in the front yard.
I actually used my mother-in-law's truck to pull it for a while, but man, I want to. If you want to ever talk about money, I could have made the dollar amount of whatever you wanted to. I could have made it on that job, but something I learned, even when making more money, it's still not enough money.
More money equals more problem.
So with that, I ended up pretty much, we sold the house, and to this day, we couldn't tell you where half that money went, but most of it went toward the previous debt that I done got us in a hole for. So we're out on the road, and we're just things just going, and we ended up getting an apartment for a little while, and that didn't work. So because we started traveling more. We were supposed to have been in Huntsville for 4 years originally, is what I was told. So I went ahead and got an apartment. We're about 2 months into my lease, and hey, we're going to Bristol, Tennessee. Okay. So we ended up going to Bristol, and just to remind y'all, at this point, I feel like our marriage is doing really good. we're getting to see parts of the United States that a lot of people didn't get to see. We took back roads to Durham, North Carolina. I went and seen Duke University. It was something I always wanted to do, and we was living what we thought was a dream. We was doing a lot of things. So when I got to Bristol, I had sold my camper, and I didn't really make no money off of it. It got in pretty rough shape, but we got to Bristol, and everything pretty much got told that, hey, all your stuff's taken care of, your food, your eats, just keep the receipts, your hotel stuff, and we're going to take care of it. So we went ahead and got some credit cards, and that's the route we went. We just kept so we could keep a tab on it. So we leave Bristol, Tennessee, and I'm having to go. I went and found another camper at this point. It's because we're done there, and I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do because I just recently got towed in that position. Hey, that trip's actually not covered. You're kind of going to be in a spot where, it was for the company, but y'all kind of went and done y'all's own thing because we went and got nicer hotels, and we actually stayed at Airbnb, but that was never let out that that's what it was going to be. That was never part of the problem.
Didn't catch the fine print.
No. So now we're sitting here with debt right back up to our nose again. And I carried a lot of that debt. We still carry a lot of that debt. And so we're at a spot in I can't remember where it was. I think we come back to Huntsville and worked. And here was another moment where things kind of changed again. John Luke's up and he's mobile as all get out. And remind you, we're in a camper and there ain't much room to go. I didn't have no toy hauler. This was a pull behind camper with one slide out on it. With 2 dogs, my kid, and my wife, and myself. I'm outside grilling one night, and I was bad about getting the Michelob twist tops because I knew I didn't want my son to try to pick up my bottle and drink. That's what I've had. It was a Michelob twist top. I put it back on the table. I walk in from out on the grill, and when I walk in, I see John Luke's got it, and he's turned it up. And in that moment, everything froze. Everything stopped spinning. Everything was, I don't know, it was a moment that I've never experienced before. But it was like somebody was telling me, this is where it's going. You're not going the right way. Well, we are in Jacksonville, Alabama, and me and Dustin Jones.
That's the homeless guy.
Yeah, that's the homeless guy. We're pretty tight. Been one of my best friends my whole life, and he's been through everything with me. He was actually a little fact check here. He was actually one of the guys that told me several times, "You need to quit treating that girl like that." And he was talking about Ashley. He's always had my back, and he invited me to go to church. And so we started going to Amory First around January of 23. We would go, and we went pretty regular. And I had a moment with my wife about February. We went to a marriage conference.
Can we pause right there?
I can wrap it up.
No, I don't want you to be in no rush.
Oh.
Because this right here is where I get introduced to you.
Yeah.
This is where I guess we all start getting introduced.
And his life changes forever.
But yeah, let's pause it right there. And
it's like you are gonna have a part 3.
When we come back for part 3, seems to be a going thing around here. We'll finish up and see what happens to the guy.
Sounds good to me.
Bring it on.
I'm gonna turn the camera off.
Pause button.
Thank
Pause
y'all.
boy.
See y'all.